Hey, people out there, I'm talking to you, Drew M. Griffin, and everybody else. Let's do this, America. That's right. As usual, I'm Dr. Mike Savella, and this is my show that, is just stellar. Um, you know, but it is Thursday, January 28th. It is 1:10 p.m. Eastern time, and with me, as always, is Sean P. Dent on Twitter. How's it going there, Sean?
Greetings, everyone. What is up, my friend?
So I want to apologize to Sean for having a daytime podcast. I'm like totally messing up his whole kind of
my setup, screwing it up, man.
Unveiling the curtain or his background. So
it was bound to happen.
So how much snow is up there in Erie?
Erie, actually, not that much. No, I'm almost positive that our friend Drew over in Philadelphia probably has way more snow than me. In total inches, I keep getting snow, but not the dump that he received. 28 inches.
That's what she said. Ah!
Oh, it's that kind of show, huh?
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I have experienced what Drew is going through on numerous times in my life, but
actually most of the winter.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, 2 years ago, Erie got that, and then when I was in college at Penn State in main campus, State College, they had 36 inches fall overnight in one night. So I feel your pain, I know, but to not have the resources, I think that is the most difficult thing, because I have friends who are in Philly area that I think they just got their road plowed yesterday or the day before. So that had to be frustrating.
So let's we're just going to outline the show here. So if people don't know or haven't been tuning in that much, Sean has been injured and is going through the recovery process, and he'll give us an update from just this morning about that. And we're going to be talking about this Miami doctor who went off on this Uber guy and how she's trying to save her career.
Good times.
So we'll be talking about that.
Alcohol is not your friend.
We'll also be talking about the terms of medical provider, mid-level provider, nurse practitioner, physician, and Sean and I may have a little discussion about that. And if we have time at the end of the show, we're going to talk about new emojis, which I'm very excited about, and I know Sean's excited about. But first, so for people who don't know, hello, David Harlow. I'm a big fan of David Harlow. He's awesome. And thank you, Drew, for tweeting that out. So just to kind of get things started, I don't want to roll back too much, but just to kind of frame it and set it up for people. So Sean is a nurse practitioner and was on vacation during Christmas time and injured his knee and had surgery to repair it. Damaged some of the cartilage of the knee, which is very painful. And if you want to see a lot more of his story, you can go to his blog, you can go to his Snapchat. But what he's going to update for us today, you just went to the doctor today, Sean, is that right?
Literally my first post-op appointment. So it was nervous. I think you and I have talked about it, and I've mentioned it many times, that going from the provider side of the bedside to the patient side of the bedside is a little challenging. And the hardest part, I think, is knowing what you know, even though you're the patient, is that you go in kind of already expecting to hear what you're going to hear. So this was my first post-op appointment, and basically the big to-do was to get my stitches out, to get the sutures out, and roll back just two brief sentences is that jumped off of a 15-foot cliff into water, complex lateral meniscus tear that was thankfully repaired under arthroscopic surgery on January 12th. And since then, I have been unable, because of my surgeon's direction, I have not been allowed to bend my knee more than 30 degrees. I've been wearing a knee immobilizer / brace that is the entire length of my leg, from my upper thigh all the way down to my ankle, and haven't been able to bend my knee more than 30 degrees per the brace. Got my 2 whopping sutures out, which was not very exciting. And he was able to he's allowing me to now bend my knee 90 degrees. And I posted something on my Instagram account just briefly before we started here that I have not been able to bend my knee that far in over a month. So I won't give any more details other than just appreciating the fact that you're able to take your knee and bend it, having your calf touch the back of your thigh. I have not been able to do that in over a month since the day of injury. So today was bittersweet for me, and it was a tad bit emotional. I won't lie. It was a tad bit emotional.
And you're still having a lot of pain in there, I presume.
No, absolutely not. I'm off all of my pain medications. Ironically, talked with my office manager last week, and I was afraid to actually come off the pain medication because of the anticipated pain. And,
right, exactly.
Thankfully, maybe it's just me or the injury or the wonderful surgeon's hand, take your pick, but I have no pain. Unless I decide to do something stupid, which I'm not allowed to do, if I follow all of my surgeon's directions, I have absolutely no pain. I have full knee extension, and I'm ready to go, Mike. I am ready to go.
So have you been allowed to do more from a
functional standpoint? No. Okay. Meaning that I'm still only allowed to toe touch on the ground, which means I can't bear weight on my foot yet, which is another very frustrating thing. Try and not use one of your legs for an entire day. Meaning, now, I'm not belly aching. There are plenty of other people out there that have it way worse than I do. But to go from being as active as I am to not being able to use my right leg at all, and every time I stand up or stand still, I have to put all of my weight on my left foot, and I'm only allowed, and the description that is the best way to describe it is the amount of weight I can put on my right foot is that if I was standing on a piece of paper, you could pull that piece of paper out from under my foot with no resistance. That's how much pressure I'm allowed to put on my toe. So.
Wow.
Yeah. A little frustrating, but I can bend my knee more now. I was hoping that I would be able to go swim and do some aquatherapy because for those that don't know, I'm a nurse practitioner, but I'm also a non-practicing athletic trainer. I was an athletic trainer for over a decade, so I worked hand in hand with physical therapists on rehabilitating injuries exactly like this. So I know exactly what I need to do and how to do it, when to do it. But I was hoping to be able to do a little bit more. But this is, from what I was told today, is a complex. It was a very complex tear. It wasn't a simple go in, throw one suture, close it, and we're good to go. They actually had to put in 3 or 4 stay sutures, which are going to take a lot of time to heal. So I'm in this for the long haul, my friend.
Wow.
Yeah. So for me, who I do CrossFit, I do Olympic lifting, I'm active, jumping, running, pulling, take your pick, to go from that to being stationary. It's been a very big adjustment, and I am publicly acknowledging that I think over the past 2 weeks, I'm willing to admit that I had some level of depression.
Oh, yeah.
It was very, very, very difficult.
Going from being very active to zero. Not only that, but being in pain. I encourage people to check out Sean's previous podcast where we kind of go into the nitty gritty about the injury and surgery and hours post surgery. Very enlightening to kind of go through that. So you're still not allowed to drive or anything like that?
No, no. So I'm at the mercy of either my wonderful wife, who has been, oh, what she's done for me these past couple of weeks has been absolutely amazing. It's either relying on her, or I have to beg, barter, and steal friends, or if I so choose, and we could use this as a wonderful segue, is that I could call up Uber.
You could. You could. Is there Uber in Erie, Pennsylvania?
There is, and I did not think. I never even thought about looking into it until someone from Twitter suggested Uber. So, on a whim, sitting on my couch, looked it up, and lo and behold, there's an Uber in Erie. So if I really, really, really want to go somewhere and I want to pay for it, and it's reasonable because I actually compared it with if I were to call a taxi to bring me from here to, there's probably 3 spots that I would go to. It would be my gym that I coach at, my therapist office, or to go to the pool, which is the YMCA. So 3 places, all are kind of in the same range, all around the same price. Yeah, just leave the weapons. It's actually fairly priced considering Uber versus a taxi. So I can understand the draw to have it right on your phone. It tells you where and when to pick you up. It'll give you a price before you actually, register or select it. And it gives you a time frame. It gives you a route. It tells you everything you need to know. And you can actually message your Uber driver in real time, which is creepy as well as pretty cool. So,
well, if you do that, Sean, just don't be stupid about it. Because
I probably won't drink alcohol prior.
That transitions into topic 2, which is a much lighter topic and something that's been in the news. And it's been very interesting. So for people who are here, I dropped the link in the chat room, but you can pick your favorite news story. But I will read this a little bit. This is from ABC News, and this picture on ABC News from yesterday just looks so sad. The title is "Miami Doctor Accused of Attacking Uber Driver Calls It Biggest Mistake of My Life." The article goes like this. The Florida doctor captured on video lashing out at an Uber driver in downtown Miami says she is ashamed of her actions and says she and her family have been targeted since the video release. Quote, "I see a person that is not me and I am ashamed." Dr. Anjali Ramkisoon said on Good Morning America on the video. I still can't watch the entire video, but don't worry, we have. Every time someone brings up or tries to ask me what was happening at that point, it's to say I can't. She is a 4th-year neurology resident. Can be seen in the video berating the driver, trying to hit him, throwing things, and trying to knee the driver. I think that really kind of captured it for me there. Sean, is just I saw this the other night, and I just couldn't believe what was happening. But what was your first thoughts there when you saw this the first time?
Oh, absolutely. My first thought was, "You've got to be kidding me." And I think it was, "You got to be kidding me. I can't believe someone's doing this." And then it was, "You got to be kidding me. This is a resident. This is a physician resident who's literally on the cusp of graduating from her program to become a independently practicing physician caring for patients, and found out later that it was with neurology. So she was going to be a neurologist. And I was, as a fellow provider,
keep going.
As a fellow provider, it was embarrassing because regardless of the reasoning why, it doesn't excuse the behavior. With that being said, after I watched the apology video and her explanation, she apparently had a really rough day that day, I actually watched the whole video. She was actually left at the bar with her 2-year boyfriend. Yeah, left at the bar. Dad went into the hospital that day. Whole slew of, all right, let's call them excuses. Whole bunch of excuses for why she lashed out as a uncontrollable drunk. And I wonder, are we judging her too harshly? And isn't everyone entitled to one mistake?
Well, I guess we're going to find that out. Just thinking back, way back,
back in the day,
back in the last century when you and I were in training there, Sean, you could have a, stupid little weekend in Miami and nobody would even know about it. But now, through the miracle of social media and the internet,
as you can see, while we're talking, my phone is just.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this thing will follow this person for forever.
By the way, I'm gonna have to post this on Snapchat now.
So are people? Do I have to smile for this thing?
That's Mike Sevilla on Snapchat right now, ladies and gentlemen.
This is so meta. We're like we're promoting a podcast that we're live right now on
because
Snapchat.
now I'm actually giving myself a snap right now. As you can see, I'm gonna do that way. That's a snap. So this is the day and age we live in.
Excuse me. So are people allowed to one bad day? Well, there's always our good friend Drew M. Griffin. It's never okay to assault anyone ever.
Absolutely agree.
But I thought it was really interesting how the video got there in the first place. It was recorded by the Uber person. That the car was. So I thought that's who recorded it.
No, I think it was another Uber passenger. Maybe
Okay.
I can't remember, but the person she assaulted was the driver.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, unless he started videoing her and then maybe he handed his phone off to somebody, I don't know. But yeah, so that reportedly she apologized to him and he was pressing no charges, which, kudos to him for having the control, first of all, not to lash out or to return the favor. But I guess it's an educational piece not only for people who are professionals, but also it's a heads up for people who are using Uber, don't you think?
Well, I mean, there have been reports, over the past few months, not only in the United States, but around the world of Uber drivers just, some of them just getting really verbally abused and physically abused.
Huh?
And, I don't know, how people do that. I mean, it's just, but I guess any kind of transportation person, but, even if you're a taxi driver or whatever, I mean, I guess could be, in danger of that. But I mean, you just hear the stories more about the Uber drivers. So,
yeah, you're asking me if I'm going to actually take an Uber here. Have you been to Erie?
Not for the 6 months of the year that you guys call winter.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. So I'm probably not going to be. I mean, I had thought about taking an Uber because I wanted to do some things during the day when my wife is at work, because she's basically my mode of transportation right now. But after that video, I actually had to think to myself, do I really want to take an Uber after that? I know it was the passenger causing the problem and not the driver, of course, because I know that the drivers get compensated in some way. I don't know what their compensation is, but, they're doing it for other reasons, for money or
sure, of course,
something else. So
yeah.
But I mean, so there's an argument for you, Mike. Are we as medical professionals, are we as professionals in general, are we held to a higher standard regardless of the situation?
Yeah. I mean, that's why this is a story.
Right. So it wouldn't have mattered. Would it have mattered if she was just a regular person and not a physician in training?
Um, yeah, of course it would. Of course it would. I mean, so, she's a physician. She's young. She's attractive. She's in Miami. And there's video evidence.
Isn't that like all the check marks for good social media, good ratings, and how many people can click to come watch our video? Yeah, that's all about good ROI right there. Holy cow.
That's a good yeah. But the perfect storm now. So so I wonder how long it's going to take to kind of erase that social media footprint for her job.
Probably not for. I would say it's 5 years or more before that that smoke will dissipate. Unfortunately and sadly for her and her professional career, it's going to follow her everywhere. And how many times do you and I and other professionals out there say, be careful what you put out there and be careful what you do, regardless of where you are at, because I mean, I say it all the time. There isn't a moment that I'm not a nurse practitioner. Whether you like it or not, it's part of the deal.
Yeah.
Whether you're a nurse in the healthcare field, you are held to a higher standard because of what you've chosen as your career.
Right.
You don't like those words, you should probably look for a different career.
But I mean, she could be, kind of taking steps to, to really correct that. I mean, it was a national story. She goes on a national show, issues an apology. If I were her, I would start writing about this. I would start writing about her experience. Maybe, I mean, from a media standpoint, she'd be a great speaker somewhere to raise awareness about something like this. Even in medical education, whether in a residency program or medical schools or nursing schools or provider schools.
Social media etiquette 101.
Yeah, and if she's
here's what not to do.
And if she's able to turn that around, then maybe not so negative social media footprint out there. If she's
absolutely. I think if she turns it into a proactive ordeal. I mean, you do you know who Katie Duke is?
Oh yeah, I talked a lot about Katie Duke. Yeah.
So I mean, Katie Duke kind of did the same thing.
So for people who don't know.
Katie Duke is now a nurse practitioner, but she was a registered nurse at the time, and this was 3 years ago, 4. She was on that very popular reality TV show, and I honestly don't remember. New York Med, maybe, I don't know. Yeah. And it was Life in Times of the ER in a very prominent New York ER. In the hospital, and she was one of the nurses she's a registered nurse and was part of this reality show. She took a picture of the trauma bay empty after the patient had been cared for, and unfortunately I believe the patient did not survive, and she just posted an empty room with how the floor looks after a trauma and the leftover equipment, blood on the floor, take your pick. And she made the comment in her text on Instagram about, she gave pieces of information that was enough that anyone who was motivated could probably figure out who the patient was. So it indirectly violated HIPAA, and she was fired from her job. And she was of course, taken off of the TV show, and she turned it into positive propaganda. Yeah, she turned it into positive propaganda and started educating nurses and other healthcare professionals about the incident. And she stood her ground, saying that she felt that she didn't do anything wrong. But I mean, her 5 minutes of fame then have turned into much more, because she's now a spokesperson. She's sponsored by numerous colleges, from the little bit that I know from my previous employer. So, yeah, I'm hoping that this physician will do the same thing.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see, because at least for the short term, maybe
I mean, she's already started, so she's gone on to national news to apologize and to explain herself.
and
I'm sure it's going to take a couple times. People aren't just going to say, "Oh, you're forgiven."
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take a little bit for people for that anger to wear off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because she's held to the higher standard. You know, I mean, would people treat you differently, Mike, if they knew that you did something like that?
People would probably expect it, depending on who. I'm a bad example.
Yeah, okay. Someone who's been nationally recognized, who's been on front of magazines. I mean, come on. Yeah. There it is. There it is.
Yeah, our friend David here has a great comment. If the Uber rider wants to get past this, I think she should get active on social media, not just about this incident, but other professional issues, apologize, explain, and then move on, build an online presence about other stuff.
Redirect attention.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. See, we have the smartest audience here, Sean.
Will it be easy? No, but by all means, she needs to redirect her attention.
Right. I mean, doing nothing is like worse than.
Absolutely, because then it's isn't someone said it once? Being silent gives them permission, or something along those lines. If you're not speaking up about it, you're accepting their explanation, or you're accepting their truth. Something along those lines. It's a horrible quotation, but.
So hopefully we'll see good stuff from this doctor, and hopefully this first national interview and apology will be the first step with that.
Yes.
So next topic. So I saw an interesting interesting posts yesterday on all of your social media platforms. You're everywhere there, Sean. You're on Twitter, you're on Facebook, you're on Snapchat, you're on Catch, you're periscoping. But
you could just rephrase that and say, "Where aren't you?"
I don't want to get you all paranoid, because you're like, "Oh, I gotta sign up right now."
I actually thought about it. Have you sorry to interrupt the topic, but have you heard of the new social media community called Peach?
Done. Boom.
I almost did it. No, I almost did it. I was like, what am I going to do on there? I do it everywhere else. It's just, why would I do that? I have such ADHD. It's horrible.
Squirrel.
I saw a video about a mobile app called Beam, Beme. Okay. Apparently, it was really popular last year when it came out, and it's kind of faded away because it offers the exact same thing you can do at Snapchat, so it's getting washed out by Snapchat right now. But yeah, I almost downloaded that one, and I thought, it's time to start picking my battles wisely. Why would I do that? So yeah, I'm everywhere.
So I put in the chat, and I'll put out there too. So I saw this post on your blog. You're directing everybody to your website and blog. The title is Mid-Level ? Mid-Level ? Hi, I'm the nurse practitioner. So, Sean, what were you talking about that, and what's the discussion you want to start with this post?
Well, I decided to garner some attention because the title itself actually is from a old post I wrote back in 2007, and it said, and the title was, "Hi, I'm the nurse we've never met." So I kind of stole an old idea, and I decided to title it Mid-Level ? Hi, I'm the nurse practitioner. And it was sparked from a conversation I had with, I think, a student or another nurse, or I saw something somewhere on Twitter maybe, and somebody referenced nurse practitioner physician assistants under the same umbrella and called them mid-level. And it's been a term that has been used over a very long period of time. I wish I could give you a date on how long that term has been around, but I mean, Mike, how long have you either used, heard of, or seen the term mid-level. It's quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
So the existence of it has been around for a while, but nurse practitioners as well as physician assistants are starting to push back on the term because the term is, I don't want to say demeaning, but diminutive, that it doesn't accurately assess or describe who and what we are. So if we take the term literally, mid-level, then that means that you, the physician, are the upper level, and that the bedside nurse is the lower level. And then if the RN is the lower level, then if we want to go even further down the line in the echelon of responsibilities, then you have the LPN and the nurse assistant. What are they? Because, the registered nurse is the lower level. So I was simply putting it in perspective, is that it's used as a category. So if someone is referring to the conglomerate of, God, I can't even say that word right. They're trying to put the umbrella term over to refer to both physician assistants and nurse practitioners as a single entity, because in most states, from a responsibilities perspective, from a abilities perspective, both physician assistants and nurse practitioners can do the same things. So that's where I think the term may have first been generated. It's not a term that I know that in my field as a nurse practitioner, we do not want to be used. And I know from few physician assistants that I know also do not want to be using the term mid-level as how they're addressed. So I am a nurse practitioner. I am an independent thinker. I am not the physician's underling. I am not their subordinate. I am their partner. We are collaborators in providing team-based care to our physician, to our patients. So I was simply bringing attention to the term again.
Now, there's no way I'm going to defend that because I don't agree with that. So, I don't agree with the premise of being underlings and things. I'm definitely with you on that.
Okay.
On your blog post. So yeah. It's just I hate when people throw tradition around as far as why we do things, and it's always been done that way, and we should keep doing that, and absolutely we should question why things are done and how they're done. But yeah, I agree with you. The little kind of veer off with that is people are using the term provider as kind of a generic term. And I guess from a category standpoint, I guess that's accurate. But when a lot of people are saying, "Oh, you're a family practitioner or provider," well, I guess from an accurate standpoint that is. But I didn't go to practitioner school. I didn't go to provider school. I went to medical school, and I'm a physician. So it just kind of irks me. It's not inaccurate, but I'm not a primary care provider. I'm a primary care physician, and that's my little soapbox thing for the day.
You and I are in complete agreement in the intent of the terminology. And if, I guess what it comes down to is, let's take an example as a patient, whether it's primary care or specialty office. When a patient, like particularly today, I actually was seen by the physician assistant today. I wasn't actually seen by the surgeon. So when I call in to make an appointment or to ask a question, the secretary who answers the phone is going to say, "Who did you see?" And then is the question, did you actually see a physician or did you see a physician assistant or a nurse practitioner. So to put all of those individuals, people into under one umbrella, you say provider. Which provider did you see today? Because it's not incorrect by saying that they all provide care. So you can extend that even further into, because you can call or you can refer to a nurse as a provider because they're providing care. So it's a very, 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 very generalized term. And maybe, and I said it in my blog post, is that we don't agree with the term mid-level, but I also don't have a replacement term either. I don't know what's a better term. What term do I use that's going to describe both physician assistants and nurse practitioners? Where I work, the best description so far, and maybe I'm biased because it's where I work, we're called advanced practice providers. And that, to me, at least encapsulates what both of us do. So, ironically, though, the short form of that is APP. So we're all apps.
So you're all kind of,
we're all apps.
Apps.
So, so that's the tongue in cheek for you. But yeah, so I mean it actually garnered quite a bit of interest out on Twitter, and then quite a bit of interest on my Facebook fan page as well. So it's been I'm all about sparking conversation these days. Maybe I don't want to use the term controversy, but I'm trying to find everyone's pain points right now because I got the time.
and they found your pain points, or you found your pain points.
So I'm glad we can agree to sort of agree and disagree. Can you do that?
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
As that happens,
what would you call them? What term would you use?
Peeps, because that's very professional.
Yeah. Excuse me, sir, but which peep did you see today?
Say we're casual. We're
which one of my homies did you see today?
Exactly. Oh man. All right. So last story here, and this show's moving fast today, there, Sean. So we'll end with the light story here. I just saw this here yesterday. The emojis, Sean. They're just like they're blowing up everywhere. Just like everywhere. They're like I need an emoji translator. Is what I need sometimes because I really don't understand it. Because I'm an old man. There, Sean. Get off my lawn, you kids. Get off my lawn.
It took a while. You worked it in there. It took a while.
That's
you
right.
Worked it in there.
Right. So I saw this story yesterday. Preview the 74 new emoji set to hit your phone this year. It's from Yahoo News.
I'm pulling up the link right now. So.
January 26th.
Oh, wow. They actually list every single one of them.
In case you want to check them all out there.
Oh, my.
Cucumber.
These are pictures. These are darn pictures. These are these are JPEGs on your freaking phone.
Yeah, exactly.
So these aren't emojis. I mean, my thought process on an emoji is the smiley faces and the little cartoon icons. In my world, that's an emoji. When you start getting into like pictures, I saw the gorilla was one of them, and there was a hawk and things like that. That's going a little too far for me. But according to the gurus out there on the internet, this is the new language. And there was a very smart guy out there on the internet. His name's Gary Vaynerchuk. He said that for those of us who are still bucking the system or still fighting the power and don't want to use these emojis, we have to remember that before there was the written word, that the way that we communicated was literally by pictures on a wall. So why is it not such a hard stretch of the imagination that we're coming full circle and starting to use pictures again to communicate? I mean, it's a pretty intelligent argument. I think the problem is that we've gone from using full words to shortening all of our words to BRB and AF, things like that, instead of actually typing out the words. I think people think of emoji and they automatically think of, text shorthand. So at least maybe that's my theory.
Or, like APP. Yeah.
Touche.
Exactly.
Touche.
Exactly.
Touche.
Mm-hmm.
Quick-witted dude. He's a quick-witted one. He is an old man, but he's a quick-witted one.
So yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. I am going to get back after I stop the recording. We'll get back to answer some questions here. Appreciate everybody stopping in today, and a lot of great questions that I'll answer after the recording here. So, but before we kind of close up here, anything else, Sean, going on, or feel free to promote where people can find all of what you're doing on your extensive time off.
So for those that don't know, I have a website, SeanDent.com. You can find everything there is to know about me there. I have a blog. I have a podcast. I'm on every social media. We've already discussed this. I'm out there everywhere.
You're out.
I'm out there everywhere. If you're interested in some day-by-day, blow-by-blow activities on my rehab and how I'm doing with my knee, you can hit me up on Snapchat at Sean P. Dent. It's my handle over there. It's my handle for almost everything I have now. And I show some, true to life activities on rehabbing from arthroscopic knee surgery. Everything from the first dressing change that I had to out on my Snapchat, you actually got to see the provider. You got to see the provider removing the sutures out of my knee today. So you got to see the physician assistant take the sutures out. You got to see my fairly emotional response to being able to bend my knee that we discussed already. But yeah, that's about it.
Talk a little bit about the podcast.
I have a podcast. It's called the Change of Shift Podcast. And you can find out the whys, whats, and wheres to why we call it the Change of Shift. And it basically is it's a podcast that is a grassroots effort on passing on the word to anyone interested in nursing, anyone going into nursing, anyone currently in nursing, actionable information that you can take away, as well as interviews and interesting discussions about what's happening in the world of healthcare. Just this past week, I released, actually yesterday, this week's episode is an interview with a clinical educator who's a nurse going into anesthesia school, and talking about professional development, talking about why it's important and things that you can do to improve your professional development. Had a podcast a week before that talked about fitness tips on helping you increase your level of your fitness while you're at work. My podcast kind of segues into my blog, and then I have a fairly active Facebook fan page if you're interested in interacting and seeing all the videos I have.
1,000 people on your Facebook page.
Almost 2,000. I'm trying to get to 2,000. Can't seem to get to 2,000.
2,000.
I'm trying to get there. So fairly active there now. I'm starting to focus all of my efforts onto my Facebook fan page because I get a lot of great interaction as well as real-time connections, valuable conversations on my Facebook fan page right now. So, and the actual URL or the name is called I Am Sean Dent. If you want to look me up, by all means, hit me up and let me know where you found me.
And probably people can find everything at SeanDent.com, I presume. Right?
Yes. And what about you, Mike? Where can everybody find you?
Well, people can find me at DrMikeSville.com. And shout out to all 22,000 Twitter followers. Most of them are bots, but I love you guys anyway.
You're not bragging, though, right?
No, because they're all fake followers. And I paid a nickel for all of them. So that's a little social media tip for the day. So yeah, you can go to my website and have a little.
What about your podcast? Because you got a podcast.
Yeah, I got a podcast. Do some YouTube videos, and on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff. And I'm not, as devoted as Sean is because I'm.
Well, you actually have a full-time job right now.
I'm a slacker. But
you had a podcast last night, though, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we talked about family medicine. Family physicians, and we talked about how much we love that. And I've been a slacker. I haven't put that up yet, but I will put that up on drmikesville.com hopefully today.
Yeah, I caught the tail end of it. You were there was something you were reading back, and you were hoping to get on someone else's podcast. What was that all about?
Yeah, so our professional organization has an academic journal, and I'm trying to get them to interview me on an academic journal.
I think it'll happen.
That's not going to happen. No.
It's going to happen because they could use your 22,000 Twitter followers.
Yeah, that's right. So
got to start leveraging.
So what?
You got any major events coming up? Going to any conferences? Anything like that?
Yeah, actually, in a couple of weeks, some of those people from last night's show that I'll put up there, we'll be going to Miami for a weekend.
So you're going to be in Miami?
Going to be in Miami. Yeah.
Are you going to get to enjoy any of that weather?
Oh yeah, we love the conference organizers who have a very understanding schedule, and also very cool is some of the people going with me are social media freaks. I mean advocates. So we'll be doing some recording from the beach and rubbing it in on people.
Oh,
now I know there's bad karma about that because our good friend Sean P. Dent was rubbing it in. He was in Mexico during Christmas and then he got injured. And that's why he's not working right now. So I have to be very, very careful about the karma.
Karma is you know what I mean.
Oh, it's this.
Yeah, I was literally rubbing people's faces in the sand with all of the beautiful weather I was having.
We were getting hourly posts.
Yes, you were. I remember
15,000 accounts of Sean P.
Yeah,
and then nothing.
Boom.
Nothing.
Boom.
Nothing for 24 hours, and then the next picture we see this knee right there.
Yes.
And, an ice pack and ouch.
Yes. My day did not go as planned.
All right. So anything else? We're going to stop this recording and answer some questions here. What do you think there, Sean?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and hit that stop button and see if we can dive into these interesting questions.
Cool. So drmikesville.com and SeanDent.com, and we will see everybody real soon. So stand by.